Almost.
Ready? Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will welcome you to our September 29th, 2025 Commissioners Meeting. Apologize for my voice, kind of picked up a good cold. This morning, Commissioner Kleinance will lead us in invocation of pledge. Please rise if you're able.
Our Heavenly Father, we bow our heads today and give thanks for this beautiful sunny Monday morning. We're grateful for the privilege of coming into town and participating in local government. Please be with us and help us to make good decisions and be attentive and be good listeners. We're grateful for all the freedoms that we enjoy as citizens of the United States of America. We're grateful for those in spite of some of the many problems that we create for ourselves. Please bless all those people who are going through special challenges with loss of family members and friends and loved ones, and help us to be mindful of them. Once again, we're grateful for everything that we have, and we love thee and give thanks in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Larry. First item of business is approval of last week's minutes.
I will move to approve our minutes.
Second.
I've got a motion from Larry and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Next up is the approval of claims.
I'd move to approve claims.
I've got a motion from Tony and a second to approve claims. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. The next item up is the approval of payroll.
We'll move to approve our payroll.
Second.
I've got a motion from Larry and a second to approve payroll. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Under our weekly reports, first of all, a new permit report of last week. We had 33 permits issued. Fees collected $6,822. The estimated value of construction $4,545,339. And again, it was a pretty good sized week. This report's always available for the public to view up in the Code Enforcement Office. Next item is County Highway. We've had Danny Hollander, our engineer, with us. Good morning, Danny.
I'm gonna blame you for my cold.
Or being cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you want to do something dusty. You've never been in a combine when it's been dry, cutting soybeans. You'll go through a pair of contacts twice a day. It's dusty, nasty. Thank you for doing that.
I wanted to blame it on the corn dust and but I think I must have had a cold coming on. But we were in one variety of corn that despite being sprayed with fungicide,
The fungus.
yeah, the fungus got in it anyway.
Fungus is among us.
You know, it does not matter whether it's a weed, a crop, a flower, or people. Mother Nature wants to reproduce. You can kill a cocklebur the 1st of August, and by the 20th of September, if it's still alive, it will put burrs on. It wants to reproduce. And this particular variety, I think, cannibalized its self. And I could literally stop every 2 hours and blow the cab filter out, and just a pile of black dirt. And I've got a pretty good combine cab, but I'm wearing a mask now inside. So anyway, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. What we got, Danny?
The crew report for last week, we worked on the dry well on 650 north. We did stone along the shoulder on 500 east. Removed log jams from the bridges on 900 east and also Stafford Road and also 300 south. These were part of we're getting FEMA reimbursement for, so we're getting some of that work done so we can turn it in for reimbursement. We Durapatch, we worked on signs. So we had the bat wing out and Clay and Flat Rock Township, mowing Flat Rock, the brush, trees back. And we picked up brush in Harrison Lake, some of the trees that have been down.
The dry well, Danny, the dry well on 650 north, is that a new one or we just re-digging it out?
Well, we ran the pipe under the road, so we're gonna have one on both sides
Okay.
now.
All right.
One on the south side, the north side doesn't seem to be working, so we're trying to get
Won't
it.
work up there.
Huh?
They won't work up there. On a day like today, they'd work.
That's.
Yeah.
all
All right.
And I believe you have monthly reports.
Yeah, I have both the monthly crew report as well as the monthly financial report for the month of August here. And Karen's put those together. I'd make a motion, we go ahead and accept those August reports of the highway.
Second?
Motion by myself and a second to accept and enter into the record these monthly reports for the highway department. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Anything else, Danny?
That's all I have.
I have a question for you, Bruce, if that's okay. I talked to you last week and thank you for getting back with me and getting me that information about Azalea Bridge. Do you have any late update on when it'll be open?
I was out there last week and they reported the deck and they said they could drive on it 4 days, at least construction traffic, not open to traffic. But then all they have to do is the approach slabs, and I expect those to be done this week. So maybe middle to late next week,
Okay.
it may be able to open because there's no other. Typically at a project, you got seating and, you know, this is just an overlay on the deck. So there's no other auxiliary work that needs to be done. So
Okay.
as soon as it's concrete's able to be driven on, they're able to open it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Danny. The next item on our agenda, we have a ordinance concerning some zoning map of Bartholomew County. We're gonna do some rezoning. We got Jeff Bergman, our planning director, with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff. What are we doing? And I think Tony is somewhat aware.
Right, yeah, we met, plan commission, it's probably been 3 weeks now, 2 weeks.
I think that's probably about right. It's
Yeah.
September 8th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. I am going to speak off of the applicant's concept drawing, which I included in what I sent over. I did bring some bigger ones. I don't know if any of you have an interest in. Sure.
I do. If you're offering that, I'd like.
I am offering.
I would like to look at it.
In that case, I'll have one too. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Oh, it's even colorful.
So we're talking about the property that's generally in that southwest quadrant of the intersection of US 31 and Tannehill Road. So if we think about that intersection, there's the little commercial strip mall that used to have a Mexican restaurant. I think there's a Grillers in that location now, and then some houses along 31 frontage. So behind there, and the property that we're talking about is approximately 32 acres. And I think the concept drawing is probably the best way to visualize what we're talking about. I will note that at this point, the question before the commissioners is the zoning on the property. The applicants provide this concept drawing as an indication of what they're considering. There are a number of steps that would remain if the commissioners chose to change the zoning to enable this type of development. There'd be subdivision plats that need to be completed, as well as site plan reviews on the individual components. But for so currently, the property kind of that fronts 31 at the intersection of Luray and 31, where they show a small commercial building, that's currently zoned multifamily residential. So that's the small piece that's proposed to be rezoned from multifamily to commercial. And then the balance of the property is currently zoned agriculture. And their proposal is to rezone that northern 8 or so acres, 8.5 acres from agricultural to commercial for the purpose of future commercial development. And the remaining, I believe it's 22, almost 23 acres are proposed to be rezoned to multifamily for future multifamily development. So a change to commercial along the 31 frontage, a change to commercial along the Tannehill Road frontage, and then a change to multifamily in the bulk of the property.
Jeff, when you say
Yes, sir.
change to commercial along the 31 frontage, are you talking about just this little section over here?
That's correct, Larry.
Okay.
Just that small one piece where that mentions 31, absolutely. Yes. So that's the proposal. The Planning Commission sent a favorable recommendation on this rezoning change after their September meeting. And I should note that that was the second time that Planning Commission considered this request. It really started back in spring, I think in March this year, as I recall. And one of the things that Planning Commission asked at that point was for the applicants to conduct a traffic study to identify any improvements necessary or impacts that result from the extent of this type of change at that location. And then the request was continued till that September Plan Commission meeting to allow them to do that, which they did. And then that brings us to the Plan Commission recommendation, which was unanimous in support of the rezoning. However, the Plan Commission did also attach 4 commitments to the rezoning that would run with the property with those new zoning districts. So the first commitment is for, at the time the property is developed, some type of internal pedestrian system, and be that sidewalks along the streets that the applicants are showing on their concept, or some sort of path system, basically to connect the residential piece with the commercial pieces and the other small apartment complex and other small commercial developments in the area. So the future development includes some type of pedestrian system for that. And like I said, it very well could be the sidewalks that the applicants are showing on their concept drawing. Also, as a commitment, future platting of the property would include right-of-way dedication, meeting the thoroughfare plan recommendations along Tannehill Road. As unplatted ground currently, there's no dedicated right-of-way there. So the requirement would be to dedicate a minimum of 35 feet from the center of the road as part of future development of the property. The third commitment dealt with that east property line, where this property abuts those homes, that front on 31. And those homes are a combination of zoning. Some of those are zoned commercial, some of those are zoned residential. And as a result, the zoning ordinance requires a mix of setbacks and buffering for those single-family residential neighbors. As a commitment, however, the Planning Commission basically recommended consolidating all of that and having that entire east property line have a type A buffer, which is the most robust buffer that's found in the zoning ordinance. It'd be an additional setback of 25 feet and landscaping to help screen those single-family neighbors from both multifamily development or commercial development on this property. And then finally, we really get to the results of the traffic study. And the Plan Commission did incorporate those recommendations and add a commitment, again, at the time of development, that actually there would be 4 improvements related to traffic. So first would be there's some kind of vehicle connection between 31 and Tannehill Road that's internal. So this extension of Luray Avenue that runs through the site. And that would include improvements there at the intersection of Luray, which would mainly include a left turn lane on 31, which doesn't exist at that location currently and was recommended by the traffic study. Second, the Planning Commission commitment would include widening of Tannehill Road to provide a minimum pavement width of 36 feet from Tannehill's intersection with 31 west back to the old intersection with old 31. So improvements within existing right of way there at that intersection.
Why did it not go all the way to because no traffic will enter the development at that point. Is that correct?
Correct. And then the third one I think is going to get to your question, Larry, which is widening of Tannehill Road from west from that point along the frontage of this property to result in 11-foot travel lane. So,
Okay.
and that was again based on the traffic study, and I think it accommodates various turn lanes right there at the intersection, and then more so standard widening as you move back west from 31. And then the last, as part of those traffic improvements, was an adjustment of the median opening there at Luray Avenue, consistent with NDOT specifications. If you're familiar, notice that the median opening is kind of slightly askew of where the actual intersection with Luray is. So as a commitment at the time of development, that would get corrected in NDOT. So I will note that Plan Commission recommendation was unanimous on their part. I'm glad to answer any questions about the Plan Commission's deliberation, and I will note we've got 3 representatives of the applicants here in the audience also, if you have any questions for that.
Tony, do you?
I'd just like to take a minute to say that I want to thank the applicants for really taking to heart the concerns that the Plan Commission had with regard to traffic, with regard to water. These types of things are very concerning. Originally, the plan came, the design for the approach came where they would initially, everyone would enter and exit from Luray, and we just all thought that that was very dangerous. Given that there's no signal there, a limited turn lane, and heavy traffic flow. But the applicants really took that into consideration and changed their minds to have everyone enter from 650 or Tannehill Road. Also, I want to really quickly make sure that we're all understanding that this is not a thumbs up or thumbs down on the design and plan. This is simply a question of rezoning. And is it an appropriate use of this ground? And I will say that in the Plan Commission meeting, when the comments were brought in from the different departments, code enforcement, highway, utilities, water, sewer, this program or this project is partially possible because of the work Eastern Bartholomew Water did with the increase of the the main, the water main, that goes right through this property. That was part of the Northern Gateway project with the King's Hawaiian and Irresistible Foods project. So, we're already seeing the fruits of that project. We need housing. These will be, market rate houses, or apartments, and,
Is there about 400 to 500 units? Is that what it is?
how many units is it? At this point?
Probably around 370 to 400.
Okay, all right. And so, again, we don't want to get into the weeds with regard to the plan, but focus more on the rezoning, aspect of it.
Well, I'm gonna push back on that a little, Tony, because I'm gonna get in the weeds a little.
Okay. That's your right.
Because this is a rezoning for a different use. And I think we have a responsibility to look at that and talk about that. I love the design. I think it's great. I think there's a need for this. We didn't touch any on the water issues that we have up there, Jeff.
Mhm.
I see a retention pond. I'll be consistent. I'm not much of a believer in retention ponds. What about the water issue? Maybe the developer wants to address that. Did the plan commission put any stipulations
I'll
or,
let them talk to it, but we
Okay.
spent quite a bit of time talking about water.
because water is a huge problem there. I've lived in that area most of my life, worked there every morning for many years. I know that area probably as good as anybody. And the water issue is kind of unique right there. It's not something you can just force into the ground. It'll only take so much, and when it's full, it's full. And it's full a lot. I was up there Sunday and actually took a picture. As dry as it has been the last 5 weeks, there's still standing water in that intersection. And the more asphalt we add, the more rooftops we add, just contribute to the problem without an outlet. And we have struggled. Our highway department has worked on that for many years, trying to improve the outflow of water to that little catch point. And we've yet to get it fixed. And we always thought, well, when it's developed, that's the time we can fix it. So I want to see the fix, and I'm listening, so I'll listen.
All right. I'll mainly echo what Tony said, is we did have abundance discussion of that at Plan Commission. And the applicants spoke, certainly in concept, because again, that's where this discussion is in concept, how the property develops, about their understanding of the water issues and intent to capture that water, convey it through the site, to that retention pond, and then provide it with an outlet. But I'll probably defer both to the applicants and then perhaps to Danny,
Okay.
for any further details on that at this point, Larry.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jeff Colvin, 1045 Mount Vernon Drive, Greenwood, Indiana, representing the Narsinganis on this property.
Are you an architect or
Well,
a
actually,
engineer?
A land planner.
Okay.
It was Jeff's boss at one time at Johnson County, so I trained him well, I see.
Yes, you did. That's been a good one for us.
And yes, we are well aware of the drainage issues that are there, probably not intimately as you are, but we are aware that there are some challenges. We have retained a civil engineer who is looking into that design. It's in process. We're not at the point where we can say definitively exactly where and at what rate the water will be detained, what size that pond would be. You see a concept in that general area. That's the lowest point of this property, and it generally flows that direction.
Jeff, what happens? See, right now, if that pond were there,
Yeah,
it would be 1.5 to 2 feet lower than its normal height.
right.
What happens the 9 months of the year when it's full? When it's at or above,
Right.
what happens?
The outlet would go to the south, and there's an existing, not well defined, but there is an existing creek system that flows through the apartments to the south. and then goes over, the way I understand it, over to US 31
So we don't
into
really
that
know.
ditch system.
Okay,
I don't know exactly, you know.
we need to find out exactly.
Right, and we make that commitment that we will do that with our subsequent plans. when
So then
have
we
to
should
issue.
wait on the rezoning until we get a definite understanding of where that's gonna go.
We would prefer to get the rezoning in place. That way we know that we have the zoning in place to spend the capital to do the actual engineering component, because that's quite expensive. So we would prefer to do it that way.
I understand.
We wouldn't be able, the way I understand it, we wouldn't be able to build anything until we satisfy all of the ordinance requirements concerning drainage anyway. So I think you've got the ability to stop us at any point to show that we wouldn't do any type of improvements on the property until we prove that point. So I think that there's a safety net in place for you.
Yeah, it's and I appreciate your effort, and I don't intend to be rude at all.
No, that's fine.
But I kind of heard the same speech when we put the apartments in there. The problem has not improved. If anything, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
And there has to be, and the problem is, you could argue that it's not your problem,
Mhm.
and that's a good argument. But all the water is and it's not just you. We're working on another development up just
North.
the intersection north.
Right.
And all that water comes this way.
Right.
And the last thing you want is to build all of these nice townhomes and then have people where you've got water in the streets and can't get out, and
Right.
it's a mess. And right now, there's an old saying, never buy a house on a dry day. Today's not a good day to look at a house.
Right.
And you go up there right now and it all looks beautiful and dry, but you go up there in November, whole different story. So I don't know where I just know at some point we have to force someone to figure it out. And I don't think it's a difficult figure. In the past, we've had two obstacles, US 31 and then the railroad is on the east side of US 31. And both of those, Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, but from time to time have been obstacles trying to get that water south and a little bit east. There's just no place for the water to go. And I like the detention pond, it's nice, but when it's full, it's full.
Right.
Days like today, we could get a 2-inch rain and that detention pond would take it. But next week, if we get 3 or 4 more, it's full. And then it's in the streets and the ditches. The ditch along US 31 is full of water and there is no place for it to go. So it just stands for weeks and weeks and months even. Again, I took a picture yesterday and I was amazed there was still standing water just to the north of you, right? I could see it in this drawing where that semi was parked in the water right there.
Mhm.
And it really surprised me. So anyway, that's my concern.
Well, we
I
thank you
love the
for that.
development. But this is our chance, you guys, to
Right.
figure it out. And you don't want to invest that. What's the investment roughly? The overall
It could
investment?
be $20-30 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want a $30 million investment where you've got people complaining. Every day I go out to get in my truck, and I wade through 3 inches of water on the street.
Mhm. And we don't want that either.
I
you
know, no.
We want to build a quality product. And we're going to study the drainage issue, make sure it works.
How do we know that? What's the requirement from the plan commission?
So the drainage requirement's going to come from Danny, from the county's drainage ordinances. And the applicants will be required to demonstrate compliance with that.
That's when they do the actual final planned unit development or?
So when they bring their next, should they be successful with the rezoning? And again, to echo what I think Tony already said is, with rezoning, we're really talking in concept about what the most appropriate
Use of the
regulatory
land.
scheme is
Okay.
and uses are for the property. Really without getting into too much detail, but their next step will be to provide a subdivision plat that lays out the lots, creates plans for that internal road. And will be required to provide those detailed drainage designs. And that will go before the Plan Commission. You all will not see it again as county commissioners. Tony will on the Plan Commission, of course, but that's their next step. And, you know, as you look at the process of land development, starting with putting zoning in place, second through the details of the public improvement, that's the point where, you know, typically the developer, someone in Jeff's client's shoes, you know, really starts spending their own resources on the engineering necessary to identify the details of those drainage solutions. So I think typical timeline, you know, would have them, like they've done, kind of acknowledging the drainage issue in concept and having this discussion, and then being responsible for engineering that solution when they get to the next step.
And I agree. I mean, it is a major issue there. And like you said, just to the north across the road, you know, lots of issues there. I don't think it's in their best interest to build a property where they don't take care of this issue.
But I've seen it done, Tony.
Well, but
and
they
you have
they
too.
would suffer,
Well,
and they would suffer from a business perspective and
but a lot of times when something like this is built, it will be a little higher than everything else, and it just becomes everybody else's problem. Because it's the highest, this is all a very low area. Many years you can't farm it until July. And if I'm developing it, I'm gonna raise everything 18 inches. And now I'm the high spot in that whole 300-acre area. And water gets off our property.
but you do make an interesting argument for rezoning in saying
Yeah.
it's not really good farm property.
No, and I'm not against rezoning it. I think it's a great plan. We just have to fix the drainage. And even if we fix it, Danny, you're more knowledgeable about it than I am, but there's not an easy fix. And even the fix that is installed, whether it's a tile, opening the ditches up, surface draining, it's not gonna be exactly what we would like because there's just not enough fall. It's so flat through there. So it's a tough. We've even talked about pumping, putting in big pumps and pumping water.
Danny, can you remind us what your comments were in their application
About the drainage,
about drainage?
we'll just incorporate whatever was coming off, and then at the time, I was telling them they had to contain everything, the flood, the
Mhm.
stormwater on site.
Right.
They had to hold it still because it wasn't an outlet to it.
Yeah. And we also said that once they get to the design point, that pond might get quite a bit bigger.
Right.
They might lose units.
Yeah, and that's okay, but in that area, you could dig a pond 50 feet deep and think, okay, it can hold X amount of water. It'll be full. The water table is, I've told this story before, but when I was a little boy, Noah Likens was up there with us. We had a fruit market just across 650 North, right in that corner. And he drove a point well, had two of his guys drive it by hand. And in 10 feet, we had water. All the water you could use. That's that big aquifer lake that's there. I mean, you could create a 20-acre surface area pond and go 50 feet deep. You could never dig it unless you had some kind of excavating big equipment because you're digging in water, but there's just no place for the water to go unless it's a drought year, and then everything would work fine. But we gotta surface drain it somewhere. Retention ponds work this time of year. You get a 2-inch rain today, your detention pond would work. Jeff, you know that. And we tend to just kick the can down the road. We're gonna get this development in and we'll get this worked, and we want the investment. I want the investment. But this is our chance to fix it. So I'm gonna trust that we're gonna fix it. The developers are here, right?
Yeah.
You guys are spending the money, aren't you? Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
yeah, and but we need to do it right. This is
Right.
our chance.
Right.
I'll just let you two guys stay there.
I'll vote
Since this
for it.
is a, rezone, amending the official zoning map, and it's a rezoning of these said properties, we need to have public hearing. So I will open the floor for any public comment as well as Zoom. Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, the applicant, could you provide some general details about what you guys are thinking for the commercial part of the development?
For the commercial part, we have a plan as of right now for office and retail space, and then 9 acres closest to 650 North. But that's still in the planning process, and there could be a variety of options that take place. But right now, it's office and retail.
Yes, Andy.
I've actually got a question. You had said along the east property line where there's homes, you're going to change that to a type A buffer. What's that mean for those homeowners?
Jeff, you
Yep.
want to address that?
Yep, be glad to. So that's gonna provide, some amount or more than would otherwise be required, separation and privacy for those homeowners from this development than would otherwise be required. So as a result of that commitment and that required type A buffer, any kind of development would have to stay an additional 25 feet off of that property line. And they'd have to provide screening to benefit those single-family neighbors. So that could be all evergreen plants, or it could be a fence and some lesser amount of landscaping. So I think the intent of that commitment is to benefit those single-family neighbors and continue to allot them some privacy even once this development takes place.
So if I understand that in a nutshell, the type A gives the current homeowners more distance from what they're developing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
More
absolutely.
distance as well as more screening,
Screening.
trees. There's a type A and a type B buffer,
Correct.
and there's both of those in this current
I
zoning
just heard the
requirement.
type A. I
Yeah,
heard him
there's
reference
actually a
A.
type, there's actually some type B, which is between commercial to commercial. So the type A favors the residential folks, so they get more space, more screening, more vegetation between them and the property.
So the developers will plant those trees, plant those shrubs?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Tony, I see there's pickleball courts in here. Would you agree?
That was not a requirement.
We need to scratch those so they don't compete with the county's pickleball courts.
I don't think their 2 courts will do too much damage.
That's cool that they have that.
Any other comments from the public concerning this rezoning? Hearing and seeing none, I will close the public comment section of this rezoning. Any other comments here from the commissioners?
Well, we do have a second reading on this, correct?
We do have a second reading and we will do that.
Well, let's get through the first one first.
Probably,
Whatever.
we meet next week, but then the following week is fall break and we do not meet, so I would suggest we do it after fall break. It sounds like if we've got any controversy, we don't maybe want to rush this in a week unless our attorney or Jeff, you think otherwise. Should we go for next week?
Let's wait. Let's give them time to,
Yeah, think deeper.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see some,
We could have our civil engineer attend that meeting as well and maybe answer some more.
And he did
questions in
attend the
detail.
plan commission.
He was at the
I'd
plan
rather-
commission.
I'd
He had a
rather him get
conflict
his rubber
today.
boots on and attend out there along US 31.
Yeah. I'll get him out there.
Okay, we'll let Jeff and Tina and the applicant work this out for a second reading.
October 20th works fine for me.
You think that'll work fine?
Fine.
We'll
Yeah, okay.
tentatively schedule it for then unless the applicant would want to maybe even bump it a week further, but if that works for them.
You ready?
So
Carl?
we'll tentatively schedule it for the 20th.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion on first reading to approve this new ordinance amending the official zoning map with regard to this property from RM to CR and also from AG to RM and also from AG to CR.
I will second, and I'll trust that the planning commission, when they have an opportunity, will make sure that we incorporate drainage solutions that get the water out of there.
And Larry, I really do think they will. I
I
mean,
do
it
too.
really was a large conversation
I,
in our plan meetings and
Yeah.
everyone's quite
but
aware.
it's a difficult task, Tony. It's so difficult. I remember each of these developments. And,
And I would just ask the applicants to understand how important this is to us.
but
It
none of
was
those
important in the plan
developments.
commission and it was very
Yeah,
important here as
none of
well.
those other developments have been near the size of this one. I mean, this is a big, very nice, and I'm sure it will be done in a top-notch fashion, but it'll affect you more than it will these little guys. You'll have a lot of angry people that can't get out at certain times of the year. So anyway, I'll second it.
Okay, before I call for the vote, it is it's an interesting area, and I'm gonna date myself. I might as well put it out there.
Mhm.
Because probably at some point, Brad's gonna do a story about me maybe running for office one more term. I was born in 1950, and I can remember going to the state fair as a boy, 6, 7 years of age, when 31 was a pretty new road. And I can remember back down south of here, seemed like the ditches were really deep, you know? And I noticed last week when I drove coming from Indianapolis and driving through here,
They're not as
first
deep.
of all, you can't hardly take your eyes off the road because there's a lot going on. But that strip of houses right there that they are going to buffer, you're right, Larry.
What?
The road is
Carl,
kind
I didn't hear
of, I
that.
think you're right. The road is kind of
Get that
low.
in the minutes.
The yards are low, the houses are low. And then on the opposite side of the road, just a little bit further south, Larry and I have both been here when we've been in wet springs and we've had unhappy people on the east side of 31. So it's a problem that, has only been grown by the addition of all the development up there.
But part of your point was the depth of the ditches in 1950s.
Yeah, I venture to say that the state of Indiana has probably not really dipped those ditches. And then I don't know that those ditches start really till you get even below the corner of this wonderful picture. And I mean, this is a very nice layout of what the applicant intends to do. So I'll just concur with Larry that there's drainage issues up there and we even face the same comment in the agriculture community. Every time we take out a fence row and make the field bigger, we take a natural dam away and Mother Nature moves faster. And we have in farming industry really done a good job of that too in the last 50 years. And then in addition, 50 years ago, everybody had a hay field, everybody had a pasture field, everybody had a wood lot. You drive out there and try to find those today. And all those things help to mitigate a little bit of big rain. So I know I'm preaching to the choir, but anyway. Got a motion from Tony. I got a second from Larry to on first reading, approve this rezoning. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Jeff, would
Good
you
luck,
please-
guys.
Would you please, Danny, if you could spend a few hours with him? Cause in 2 weeks, I'd like to hear, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I'd like to hear some good things about
Sure.
what can be done.
Love to.
And I think Carl's right. I think
Right.
those ditches, if you could go back to 1952, I wouldn't be surprised if they're silted 2 feet in
Right.
places.
That's something we can look at as well.
And so it's not just you, but we need a catalyst to pull it all together. And, you know, it involves the state, maybe the railroad. I don't know where it goes under there, but.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Glad to. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
We
guys.
appreciate that.
I should have announced back early, if our attorney has any bids to open, I do want him to be opening those for the end of the meeting. The next item then, we have on our agenda, we have a contractor agreement with the coroner's office. And I don't think the coroner's with us. And I don't think he's on Zoom.
I
Yeah,
am on
he is.
Zoom with you.
Hello there, Thomas.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
Yep. Briefly, tell us what you got here.
Basically, we're adding on Brent Veach as a deputy coroner to assist with just covering the county for 24/7. He's going to be able to relieve some of the congestion like on Charlie and some of the cases we get at different times throughout the day.
Okay. And per our agreement with your other deputy coroners, since this is covering the last quarter of 2025, there will be a flat payment of $125 to Mr. Veach. And then that's a prorated amount. Total year would be $500. And then in addition, he would get $200 per case worked. And this contract is from October 1st through December 31st of 2025.
Yes, sir. And then at the end of the year, obviously, I'll have new contracts for the following year as well.
Yeah. Okay, Thomas.
Carl, I'll make a motion that we enter into this contractor agreement for the coroner's office with Brent Veach.
Second.
I've got a motion from Larry and a second to enter into this agreement with Brent Veach as a contractor for the coroner's office. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. Motion carried. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Next item on the agenda, we have a proposal with the Parks Department. We have our Parks Director with us, Rich Day. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good.
I could not believe Saturday night, you would have thought there was a convention going on down there at Dunn Stadium.
Yeah, it was packed house.
Packed house between that and I know pickleball was doing it too,
First
but
time we've had the 3 entities going at the same time.
is that right? Unbelievable.
It was
Pickleball, softball, and BMX.
correct. Yep, it went real well. Had a good weekend out there. Still picking up the mess. But hey, I'm here for you today. We're on this same subject, really. We've been talking about redoing the parking lot at Dunn Stadium. with pickleball being installed and being used quite often, the parking lot was starting to get in a little bit of a disarray. I know I've talked to you guys about this project, but as we put out, I put out 3 bids and I had them bid on sweeping and cleaning the asphalt, apply a tack coat, wedge the asphalt. Essentially, that's taking all the high and low spots out. Approximately 48,596 square feet of an 1.5-inch overlay. And to restripe the existing layout. And then we're gonna seal coat, and you do have I did send in a map of the parking lot, what we're gonna do. The upper part of the parking lot is a little better shape, so we're just gonna crack seal and seal that area and restripe. I had 3 bids collected in. Case at 82,360, Milestone at 84,656, and DC Construction at 97,765.50. I asked that we go with the low bid in this case, which is Case, and to put into this too, they did come in and fix up to the curbs, and the ramp for the handicap has been done as well. That's all been asphalted, so.
Rich, Milestone and DC both bid in their bids, which were very competitive,
Yes, sir.
1.5 milling. That's not stated on the case.
I did not ask them to mill.
Yeah, but milling is an expensive component.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you had the specs.
They had the specs
Okay,
and and I walked them through.
okay.
Okey doke. Commissioners?
Make a motion that we approve this proposal for Dunn Stadium parking lot overlay and award it to Case Construction in the amount of $82,360.
I'll second.
I've got a motion from Tony and a second to award this to Case Construction out of Edinburgh, $82,360. And Parks Department's gonna pay for it out of 2 different funds. Their parking lot fund and then out of the non-reverting fund. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Rich. You got the 3 good companies, and any of the 3 would have done a good job. Case will do you a good
Are
job.
they gonna do that yet this season?
It's a plan. Yeah, that's the plan. Talked to them, 2 out of the 3 in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Next item on our agenda, we have a item here with the Emergency Operations Center, and we've got Todd Noblet, our director, with us this morning. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning.
We're Todd.
Tell us briefly what we're doing.
I'm asking you to consider a contract with Cummins Sales and Service. As you're aware, we were required to replace our generator at the 911 center. And so we need to enter into a preventative maintenance contract with Cummins Sales and Service. It's a 3-year contract. It's a little more expensive than we've had this preventive maintenance contract since we've had a generator. This one is a little bit more expensive for 2 reasons. One is it is a new generator. Our other one was 25 years old. The other thing is this generator supports both the 911 center and the Youth Services Center. And the director of the Youth Services Center reached out to us this year, and they were needing some specific tests and documentation to that they can give to the Department of Correction. And so we did add some, it's called a building load test to that. This is a 3-year contract. Year 1, the total would be $4,864.46. Year 2 would be $4,864.46. And then year 3 would be $6,142.42. And that would begin later this year in November. They would do the building test, and then it would run through August of 2028.
Okay, Todd, and this installation is complete.
Yes, August, I think it was August 26th, but we are up and running and it's fully functional.
And you've always been happy with the service in the past.
Yeah, very happy.
Okay. Sounds necessary and it's needed. We count on that generator when the lights go out. So I'd make a motion, we enter into this agreement with Cummins Sales and Service. This 3-year agreement, $15,871.34.
I'll second.
Motion made by myself and seconded to enter into this agreement with Cummins Sales and Service for the generator at the 911 center. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, thank you, Todd. We've got a couple, 3 monthly reports here. Tony, you have the animal control report.
I do, and as I look at it, it was an interesting month in August because we had a higher number of animals picked up, but it doesn't really tell the story. We had a total of 51 animals picked up, but 9 of them were deceased, still considered in our report. 13 were kittens, 2 litters, and 6 dogs were from an arrest and an auto accident, and they only stayed 1 night at the Humane Society. So the numbers that we're interacting with are actually down quite a bit. But it just brings up an interesting issue. It seems like the numbers of animals that are being reclaimed is down over last year and previous years. So even though the animals are coming in, fewer owners are actually reclaiming them. I don't know what that means, but a lot of interesting things. Our animal control department still continues to do a wonderful job. I'd make a motion that we admit our animal control monthly report for August into the minutes.
Second.
I've got a motion from Tony and a second to approve that animal control report for August. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. I have the treasurer's monthly report from Barb Hackman for the month of August. And her report looks complete and signed by her. I would make a motion, we accept her report as well.
Second.
Motion by myself and seconded to accept that treasurer's report for August. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Larry has the veterans monthly report.
Veterans report for the month of August. Items of interest. To me, I'm always interested in the VA hospital trips. We had 11 trips for the month of August, and that's pretty consistent. Mileage in our van, 1,200 miles. Burial appropriations, 17. That's where we pay the surviving spouse a small stipend when the veteran dies. I'll move that we accept the report from our veteran service officer.
Second.
I've got a motion from Larry and a second to approve that veterans report for the month of August. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Next item. Mr. Attorney, did we have any bids for you to read?
We had no bids, so.
No
We had
bids
no
received.
bids.
We had no bids.
Okay,
We had 4 people go to the pre-bid meeting.
No one submitted the bid as of 10 o'clock this morning.
We have some reps from our folks here. Mr. Rubel, any ideas as to why?
I can say we had 5, what I call prime bidders, take out drawings and specs for the project.
We did have the pre-bid meeting. Some of those folks attended that meeting. As far as a reason why we received no bids, that would be pretty speculative at this point. It's the first time I've had no bids on a project, but I think it's worth reaching out to the contractors, understanding why they decided not to submit bids.
Has anyone reached out to you?
But they have not.
No?
No, I had no indication from any contractors that they were not going to submit a bid. So we need to understand why that is and find out if there's a different way to approach things that would solicit bids.
Okay, Steve. Well, we'll have to regroup and we'll keep the public informed. Okay? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Under miscellaneous, again, our next meeting will be next Monday at 10 o'clock here, October 6th. And then just as a reminder of new business hours for county buildings, kind of specifically courthouse and this building. But we've got others as well, extension office.
Mainly all of them except for our 24/7.
Yeah, all except our 24/7. So that'll be Wednesday. We will begin observing hours from 8 to 4 for the public to do business. That's the end of our published agenda. Any other items to come before the commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, we are adjourned.